So in this video, as the title suggests, I'm going to be talking about my experience going 6 months without any masturbation whatsoever. Decided to give Nofap a try. And yeah, honestly, it was well worth it. You constantly do hear about those superpowers that people talk about online that can kind of come off as bullshit, and I can understand why you would think so. But no, I promise you, it's totally the other way around. I honestly have not felt as great as I currently do now that I'm back on Nofap, because I actually had a relapse happen, which caused my streak to end, unfortunately. And if you're curious as to why that happened, that's because I got into a long distance relationship at the time, without getting into all those details and whatnot. We saw each other for a little while, and then, after you're not seeing that person again for much longer period of time, you start to get the urges very intensely, and then you start to justify to yourself why it's appropriate to masturbate again, which honestly kind of sucked, but it's whatever. I did kind of an experiment with it, and I kind of compared the feeling of those 2 weeks when I was doing it every day back to how when I wasn't doing it for 6 months. And since then, yeah, I'm back on Nofap again. It hasn't been nearly as long, but yeah, there are tons and tons of benefits. I think the first one I definitely want to go over, which is the big elephant in the room, is confidence. Everyone's definitely going to tell you there's a lot more confidence you get from holding your semen in. And it really does make a lot of sense because, of course, when you quit watching porn, your brain's going to get rewired differently. But when you actually refrain from masturbating, essentially your body reabsorbs that semen and all its nutrients back in. So if you really think about it, you're reabsorbing the nutrient of life back into your body. And that honestly sounds really fucking cool, doesn't it? And yeah, you would assume it would have really good nutrients, and it does. There's a whole list you can look up online, and it results in clearer skin, results in pretty much more energy, boosted confidence, everything you can really name. So with that being said, another thing that I also found out that was kind of holding away my confidence was when I was masturbating, I would kind of lose, not motivation per se, but I would remain like not unsatisfied, but I wouldn't crave actually doing anything different. So I would masturbate, and then I'd be like, well, I'm satisfied. That's it. I don't need to talk to any women. I don't need a relationship. I don't need like any of this stuff, really. I'm fine where I am at life. It's whatever. I'll just go take a nap. And when that's not there and you're not feeding your brain constant dopamine and stimulation, you just get a bigger appetite for life. And that's what I noticed. I started noticing old bad habits that I kind of had, and in others around me as well, and my appetite grew, especially with my increased energy and just desire for more in life. I really just wanted to start pursuing a lot of hobbies, creative outlets, and honestly financial opportunities. So that kind of all didn't come my way. I decided I wanted to pursue it for a change. And it's really eye-opening when that happens, and then you realize that, like, it's easy to get lost in the feeling again, and you forget what it was like to actually go back to your old ways, because once you're just so far in, it's kind of natural, And so during the 2 weeks where I was doing it again daily, I think I noticed the biggest difference was my severe lack of energy, a slight, not like dramatic, but my confidence took a hit. I wasn't able to actually flow conversation smoothly, and I wasn't able to pretty much actually do anything without a slight little bit of anxiety rising up in my body. And I was honestly kind of surprised, because obviously my social skills plummeted when that happened as well. So I was kind of like, wow, this is actually like very, very, very real. That's incredible, And outside of that, yeah, I had a bigger appetite for life, which I already mentioned. My confidence grew. My desire for things also grew tremendously in that time, but that's essentially the same thing. And honestly, I feel like wanting to do more productive things also was a big changer as well. Like anything important or life-changing or anything I could do that was productive became way more appealing to do, and I chased it out. And it's honestly hit the point where I'm filling up my days with more of a I actually enjoy doing, rather than just sitting at home and, playing video games, which isn't bad. I'm not dissing anyone for doing that. I grew up playing video games, and I am extremely passionate about them myself. And honestly, I really, really, really love to have downtime and play video games and watch film. and just think critically about those as well, because they're very, very, very big works of art in my eyes. So there's nothing against them, but if that's all you're doing every single day, all day, you know, there is going to be a loss of productivity and your body's also going to take a hit. But when you reward yourself with it and you're doing a lot of other things that are productive, that's when it's good. You just have to find that balance. And after getting on Nofap, I found a balance regarding all of that, because now when I do want to launch up a video game, I kind of have an instinctual urge that I'm like, well, I could sit down and I could draw. I could sit down. I could maybe try playing the guitar. I could sit down and try doing this instead, or anything really for that matter. And it's very, very interesting. Like, I'm just craving a lot more, you know? Like, I'm not actually afraid to go up to a girl and talk to her and just get her number, get to know her, do anything like that, because that's another thing on Nofap as well. Because I mean, when you're hanging out with your dudes, or if you're a girl and you're hanging out, you know, like with just your girlfriends, it's really whatever. But like when it comes to talking to the opposite sex, sometimes, you know, confidence can like not take a hit, but you get just more anxious is what I'm trying to say. And I kind of went away, because obviously when you're just giving excuses to yourself to masturbate, you're kind of just like, well, fuck it, you know, I'm not going to pursue a relationship. I'm fine. This is all I wanted. And whatever, you know, it's like stupid shit like that, where I'm not saying sex is all I wanted, but I just mean that like you're so relaxed after all of that you don't want to like actually pursue anything, because that's you feeding your brain a lot of dopamine there, and thus convincing yourself to relax now that you've achieved a desire of your brain, instead of actually going out and putting in effort and rewarding yourself on a whole new level. And it's honestly pretty incredible. I did notice that I also get more looks. Conversation flows really smoothly. I genuinely can like seek out and talk to people. I notice more people kind of come up and talk to me as well. Just overall attraction, and I guess the energy that you present kind of stands out. So anywhere you go, it's people really enjoy feeling your energy and talking to you, you know, especially because I'll get more looks when I'm just walking across the street. Whereas one minor example of my built up confidence and I guess desire to like find like my own way was like, if someone looks at you and they're walking, you know, you're walking on the sidewalk, and if someone glances at you, sometimes you just glance back. It's awkward. Maybe you glance back again, but then you kind of think about it for a second. Well, I don't really do that anymore. Sometimes I will. I'll smile, I'll say, hey, but otherwise though, if like people kind of glance at me, I'm just, you know, still focused on like my own thing and like less like caring of like being perceived by the outside world. So everything honestly kind of added up together very, very, very well. And it really is crazy to me to think about the effects that like semen retention and Nofap actually do have. And whether you're spiritual or not, you can't deny that they are incredible, because it's scientifically proven otherwise that it's beneficial for your body as well. And I was curious as well, because I hooked up once in that time frame, and I didn't really notice too much of a difference in terms of how I felt afterwards. It was just kind of a lack of energy, really. My confidence didn't really take a hit. My social skills kind of didn't, but I also didn't really have anything going on the next day or so. So I kind of just felt like more tired than usual. So I was like, okay, that makes sense, but it's not as bad as actually like masturbating every fucking day, you know? And even then, doing it to porn is way worse. So it's really not worth it. My experience was kind of really eye-opening in the sense that like, wow, this is crazy. You know, if you pair up this habit of meditation, if you pair up this habit with anything else, honestly, in life, and you do a lot of good things, you create better habits, it's really powerful. And I feel like it really is life-changing. Before this, I wouldn't have wanted to start pursuing my own business or my own form of self-employment. And now that like I have been on it, that's all that's on my mind, I'm more inclined to like work towards that, which is honestly incredible. And literally owe it all to just discipline, really, because that's what you practice by doing this. You practice willpower and you practice discipline, which will in turn swoop its way over into other areas of your life, which I think is really cool. And yeah, I mean, if anyone has any questions about this or anything more specific to ask me, that's all that really came to mind. Just write down in the comments below. I'll gladly answer any questions in my free time. I'll definitely keep up with you guys, but I appreciate y'all even watching this video to begin with. It's really cool, and definitely will catch you guys in the next one. I'll stay around. Take it easy, y'all.